Hey, you're tuned in to the Hustle Report by Profit Duel. Today, we're diving deep into a side hustle that's always around, always needed, washing cars. But let's maybe forget the simple bucket and sponge picture for just a second. Our mission here really is to give you a quick strategic look at whether this is the right move for you. We'll cover the practical steps, sure, but also the money side, the potential, and, the stuff you really need to consider.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about getting dirt off. It's delivering convenience, maybe even a bit of luxury. That's why there's always demand. We're looking at how you can take this, well, basic chore and turn it into a real scalable business, maybe even starting right from your own driveway.
I like that framing chore to venture. That hits it. And the appeal, I think, is that immediate chance to work outside, be your own boss, and crucially, without needing a ton of cash up front, like instant autonomy almost.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. What makes it so accessible? Why isn't the financial risk massive right at the start?
Well, it really boils down to the super low startup cost. That's the main thing. I mean, think about other side hustles, digital ones maybe, needing software, courses. Here, your investment is mostly physical things. You're basically buying consumables, right? Good car wash soap, emphasis on the right sponges or wash mitts, microfiber towels. Honestly, getting to the client, the transport, that might be your biggest fixed cost initially. But the actual tools, they're cheap, easy to find. You can be earning money before you've really spent much at all.
Right. And that low upfront cost, it connects directly to flexibility, doesn't it? You get total freedom with your hours. You can fit this around a regular job, uni, family stuff, whatever you've got going on. And let's be real, for anyone tired of sitting at a desk all day, working outside is a huge plus. You get active, fresh air while making money.
And that low cost ties into stability faster than you might think. Because car washing, when done right, leads to repeat business. It's kind of a sticky service.
Yeah.
Once you find customers who like your quality and, this is critical, your reliability, they're probably not going to search for someone new every single time their car gets dirty. They just call you again. They become regulars. And that means a steadier income stream, not constantly hunting for the next job.
Exactly. So, low starting costs, high repeat business potential that frees up resources, mental energy, and maybe some cash for growth. This is where you kind of move beyond just washing cars on a Saturday. There's a real path here to scale up, offer more specialized stuff. We're talking, not just a rinse, but waxing, polishing, maybe even getting into full mobile detailing. That stuff commands a much higher price.
And what's really interesting there is the financial leverage those extra skills give you. Think about it. A basic wash might take, say, 45 minutes, nets you maybe $30. Okay? But you learn something like paint correction or how to apply ceramic coatings. Yeah, that takes more training, better gear.
Yeah.
But suddenly you could be charging, I don't know, $300, $500, even $1,000 for a single vehicle. You shift from just earning hourly to earning based on the value of a project. Big difference.
That makes total sense. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the why. Let's get into the how. How does someone actually go from buying some soap to running a, professional level service that people want to pay good money for? How do you start?
First step, gathering supplies. But it needs to be strategic, not just grabbing the cheapest stuff off the shelf. Sure, you can find everything at auto parts stores, online, wherever, but you need to focus on quality from the get-go, especially if you're eyeing those higher-end services we just mentioned. You need, proper professional-grade microfiber towels. You need a multi-bucket system to avoid scratching the paint with trapped dirt, because those swirl marks, they kill your reputation instantly, especially with owners of nicer cars.
Okay, so the quality of your gear is basically laying the groundwork for charging more later.
Got it.
Once you have the gear, you obviously need clients. How do you suggest finding the right kind of customers, the ones who actually value quality and are willing to pay for it?
Well, you probably start warm, right? Friends, family, neighbors. Get some practice, maybe get a few positive reviews or testimonials under your belt. But you need to move pretty quickly to more targeted outreach, especially online. Yeah, flyers and business cards can still work in really dense local areas, but using digital platforms. That's basically non-negotiable if you want to scale this. We're talking Instagram, Facebook, showcasing your results. Good before and after photos are powerful, especially on higher-end cars. And then use local classified sites, those service apps that connect providers and customers. People are already searching there.
Right, that digital proof is huge, especially if you want to justify charging more than the guy down the street with just a bucket. Okay, now we need that reality check. You mentioned physical demands earlier, but how do you actually manage that? It is manual labor. How do you avoid burnout or hurting yourself? That's a really important question.
It absolutely is. And that's where planning and, again, the right tools come in. Washing cars is tough work. You're bending, kneeling, reaching
Right.
constantly. So to avoid just killing your body, invest in ergonomic tools. Think long-handled brushes, decent knee pads, maybe even a pressure washer setup that cuts down on scrubbing time. But maybe even more important, schedule rest. Seriously, don't book yourself solid for 8 hours of detailing with no breaks. That's a recipe for disaster. Using good tools efficiently helps maintain energy. It's not just about speed.
Okay, smart. And then there's the other big thing you can't control, the weather. I mean, if you're relying on this income, how do you handle the fact that rain or snow or even extreme heat can just shut you down?
Yeah, the weather factor. It has to be part of your financial plan. You absolutely must budget for downtime. If you know statistically you're likely to lose, say, 20% of your working days in a rainy month, you either need to charge a bit more when the weather's good, or you need to save up during your busy seasons to cover the slow times, practically speaking. Maybe think about shifting your focus when the weather's bad. Could you do interior-only detailing? That can often be done in a customer's garage, maybe under a pop-up canopy if needed. You need a plan B for bad weather, not just crossing your fingers or canceling jobs.
That makes sense. It shifts the thinking from just washing cars to providing mobile cleaning solutions. Much smarter. Okay, what about keeping the equipment itself up to snuff?
Right, because consistent quality demands consistent tools. We mentioned the low startup cost, but maintenance is definitely an ongoing thing. You have to budget time and money for regularly replacing supplies, especially things like your wash mitts and microfiber towels. Once a towel gets worn or contaminated, it can actually start scratching the paint. Remember, you're selling perfection or something close to it. Your tools have to be able to deliver that every time.
Okay, let's talk bottom line. This is what everyone wants to know, right? We know there's a range, but how does someone starting out actually aim for the top of that range? What does the money really look like?
So the general average rate you hear is somewhere between $15 to $30 per hour. That's the typical window for basic car washing. But hitting that $30 or even going beyond it, that takes strategy. It's not automatic. Where you land depends heavily on, well, three main things. Location, obviously. Wealthier urban areas can usually support higher prices.
Yeah.
The specific services, just washing the outside versus a full interior deep clean, is very different. And critically, your efficiency and your reputation.
Okay, so if you're in an area with lots of competition, how do you make sure you're handing closer to $30 an hour, maybe more, instead of just settling for $15?
Market research. First step. You have to know what established competitors are charging for similar work. And the goal isn't necessarily to be the absolute cheapest. It's often better to be the best value. This is where your pricing strategy really matters. Use tiered packages. Seriously. Offer like a basic wash, a premium wash with maybe a quick interior vacuum, and then a full detail package. This lets customers choose what fits their budget and needs, and it kind of builds the upsell opportunity right into your menu.
Yeah, that makes the buying decision easier for them, and it can definitely boost your average sale value.
Yeah.
Smart. But beyond pricing, what really separates the high earners from the pack?
Honestly, it often comes down to relentlessly good customer service and finding your niche. Specialization. People will pay a premium for convenience, yes, but also for reliability, showing up on time every time, and for guaranteed results. If you communicate clearly, maybe fix a small issue without hassle. That builds huge loyalty. And differentiation. That could mean finding a specific niche. Maybe you specialize only in luxury cars or classic cars. Or think about fleet cleaning for small businesses, real estate agents, local delivery vans. That can get you out of the super competitive residential market.
Let's stick with that idea of specialization for a sec. We mentioned skills like ceramic coating, paint correction. Those sound kind of complicated. Are they really achievable for someone just starting a side hustle? Or is that more of a full-time business thing?
Well, they're absolutely achievable. But yeah, they do represent kind of the upper level of growth potential. Think of them as high-leverage skills. You'll need better equipment, maybe a more controlled space to work in sometimes. But the training, it's widely available. Online courses, manufacturer certifications, investing, say, a few $100s and maybe a couple of weekends into getting properly trained and certified, that can literally unlock work that pays $50, $75, even $100 an hour almost immediately. Because frankly, not many local car washers have those specific credentials.
That's the key insight, isn't it? Seeing professional training not just as an expense, but as a direct revenue multiplier. Okay, so let's try and bring this all together then. Washing cars. It seems like a really rewarding, potentially quite profitable side hustle. It offers real flexibility, clear ways to grow, provided you plan carefully around the physical work, the weather ups and downs, and you continuously invest in those higher value skills.
Exactly. And it's a fantastic launch pad for anyone wanting to be a service-based entrepreneur. The skills you pick up here, managing customers, scheduling efficiently, buying supplies smartly, targeted marketing online, they translate to almost any small service business. If you can master running a mobile car wash operation efficiently, you could easily look at expanding later. Maybe into related things like pressure washing houses, cleaning windows, or even getting contracts for local business fleets like we mentioned. It teaches you the fundamentals of running a mobile service business.
Perfect. That lays out a really clear potential path forward. Okay, let's leave you, the listener, with one final thought to chew on. Building on that idea of high leverage niches, we talked a lot about using online platforms and apps to find clients. But think about this. How could you use those digital tools, social media, maybe local business networking groups online, perhaps even specific fleet management software connections, not just to find any client, but to specifically target and win high volume recurring contracts, like commercial fleet washing for multiple vehicles every single week or month? How could you use targeted marketing and guaranteed service agreements to lock that in and push definitively beyond that $30 an hour average consistently? Something to think about. That's it for today. We'll see you back on the Hustle Report soon.